Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Dual Hearts. It's time to take on the last non-final boss fight in the game, so to speak, but first, got a bit of an obstacle in the way. Yep, I have no idea. This is entirely new. This is the only scenario like this in the entire game. Basically, the goal here is to beat on the hand until it retreats back into the gateway to the boss chamber, but of course take our time. We got a couple rings to pick up. I spent the time doing that, but as it turns out, there was actually one more ring next to the little obelisk with the boss hint on it that I forgot to pick up. We'll get that later. We have to come back here anyways. There's actually a collectible that appears after we beat the boss, after this door goes away. This is all you can do. The hand doesn't really attack you or anything, at least not that I can tell. Maybe if you let it alone long enough, it does. You just wail on it for a while until it retreats back into the door. We can enter the boss chamber and begin the fight for real. Check it out. Bumble actually kind of dances in time with you moving along, because he restarts his dance animation every time you move forward. That's funny to me, I guess. Anyway, here we are. How's it going, Queenie? How you doing? She's looking pretty sharp. I guess she's supposed to be draining Val's life energy there. I'm not really sure. Certainly we've been allowed to take our time getting this far, so she must be going really slowly. Like drinking a milkshake through like a tiny straw. And of course, since we were, the original target for her life energy draining spell or whatever it was, we delivered ourselves right here. You'd think that this is sort of the scenario where we accidentally sort of provide the life energy needed to wake the final boss up, but as it turns out, that doesn't really come up. Anyway, some basic bravado. Let's get it out of the way. A nice minute-long cutscene before we beat her to death, or, back to the dream world, or nightmare, or whatever. Oh man, he looks scared. It's unclear, considering that she had a spell cast on him that would actually kill him, why she can't just wipe him out of existence right now, but I guess it never comes up. I think we're supposed to forget about it. Shh! Anyway, the Queen's boss fight is actually pretty interesting. She's one of the only fights in the entire game in which her attack pattern changes without her changing form. She has 3 basic phases. We're obviously going to start the first one right here. In this phase, she'll wander around and stomp on you, like she did right there. It's pretty easy to jump over the shockwave, and I say that after having get hit by it. She can dash into you. The only way to solve it is by hitting her with Bumble. Any attack will do: the breath, the dash, the stomp. After that, she stays stunned for quite a long time, and you can wail on her just like you did with her hand. She's not particularly good at fighting back. After a while, she regains her stability, I guess, or restabilizes and attacks you some more, and then just repeat ad nauseum. You can't really use combos on her for some reason. She auto-guards when she does that little shaking back and forth thing, or recoils from the hit, so you can only use single attacks. It goes by pretty quickly, especially considering we have level 4 weapons. I'm not really sure... Oh god, I got hit again. I really suck at this part of the battle. It's not that hard. There we go. I believe her attacks are supposed to be similar to the ones that Bumble uses. She uses the dash and the stomp. I don't know if she uses the breath, but she definitely has projectiles. Now, she'll fire an egg at you. This was what the hint on the obelisk was about. You can use the charge attack of the spear or the sword. The sword is the easiest, to reflect it back at her. It's a little weeble, looks like Bumble. It's probably the cutest attack in the game. Does quite a bit of damage if it actually hits, but otherwise nothing to be too concerned about. As you can see, since considering each phase is about 1/3 of her HP, we've already got her down to half. There we go. Oops. That was totally for demonstrative purposes. I didn't just get hit there by accident. Totally. Anyway, moving on. Not sure if the hammer is really helpful here. Probably should have it in level 4. I think this is what I assumed would be the most damaging attack, but as it turns out, I should probably be using the sword. For some reason, the charge attack at level 3 of the hammer does less damage than the sword's level 4 attack. It really is just that powerful. There must be a defense modifier in the game that I'm just not aware of. This game didn't really achieve the market for there to be a dissection of the in-game mechanics. She, shooting something out of the bottom of her dress. I don't really know. She must have been all that life energy she ate. It's not be sitting well with her. Here come the sheep. First boss fight in which the sheep are actually sort of tangentially useful. This is very similar to the final boss battle of Banjo-Kazooie, which makes sense considering the game derives so much from it. At the very end of the fight, we pick up a flight pad, which is pretty cool. Air combat is not something we get to do very often in this game. Of course, this portion of the fight will be fairly straightforward, since we only have one move, the air dash. And of course, that's what we're supposed to do. Up we go! Floating up in the air. I don't know what the heck she's shooting at us now. More green gas. A little weird, let me tell you. Oh man, she's got voice acting. One of the only sequences, one of the only actual instances of voice acting in the game so far. I kind of wonder if you can butt pound her from here. Wouldn't do any more damage than the actual dash, just a curiosity. Her attacks are extremely slow. It's very simple to just continually, unless of course you hit the side of the arena like I did just there, just to continually turn around as fast as you can and just dash right back into her again. The dash lasts for a really long time, as we saw during the Santa races. The only way she can actually hit you is if you keep hitting the side like I did, and then that green laser will have a little bit of a time to charge up and actually get you. As it is, as you can see, we're pretty close to done. Naturally, since we have a near maximum tummy, we have no need to go down to the ground and recharge with asons. Just nose pounder to death or something, or dash or whatever. And the fight on the ground just for consistency with the following cutscene. She's looking okay. Maybe she's sane again. Would be nice. For once. Landu would know crazy, considering some of the people that he's met over the course of this video game so far. That sounds like ominous music. I don't think we're quite done yet. Of course we're not done. We're not even close to 100% completion. Yeah, okay, once again, we were profoundly lucky to be the descendant of the sage, otherwise this whole adventure would have really sucked. But at least we saved Val, probably. I mean, who knows? Girl's freaking insane. I mean, she's got admitted schizophrenia based on the way that this whole dream shaped up and the fact that she actually has an alternate persona that she seems very dedicated to. But let's be nice to Val for this episode, considering that we, you know, learned some really important details in this dream about how much she genuinely cares for the main character. Oh, come on. Just tell them already. It's not like you'll have many more opportunities. We're at the end of the game, and you're going to die. Poor Bumble. There's nobody to make fun of in this game anymore. Everybody's such a sad sack. Val's a legitimate stalker, and Bumble's probably in pain. He's got basically his own death clock. Anyway, in case you were wondering what the storehouse was for, considering we were in here and there's nothing to do, it's actually Val's bedroom, apparently, for the rest of the game. I mean, we know she doesn't sleep. She runs the hotel day and night, 24 hours a day. Yeah, this scene is barely touching. It's actually the only, I suppose, legitimate heart-to-heart they've had that isn't entirely bravado in the entire game. Yeah, and since Val's out of commission, we can't count on her to shove him out of the way again out of nowhere. She doesn't even stomp, she doesn't have the strength. Oh, come on, we were inside your brain. We know what you're thinking. He's just that much of a jerk. Not really. As I believe I said at the very beginning of this game, there's a continuing theme that Stompy picks up the admiration of a number of girls that are probably way out of his league if he weren't a famous treasure hunter. Check it out, he can see the red pendant. Maybe it's just not visible to humans, but then again, Stompy is the you know, descendant of the sage. You think he would notice something was going on with that stone. Yeah, probably a good idea. Possessed by the Black Calamity or whatever it is, you should probably take care of that without wasting too much time. I mean, I say that, but of course we've got a number of side quests to take care of first. I don't know what's up with his eyes. They're kind of squinty. He looks stoned or something, especially with his creepy music. I think we deserve that after 32 videos and 9 hours of gameplay, not counting what I edited out. But of course we don't get it now. We have to follow him. We have yet more hoops to jump through. Sigh. It's not like there's anybody listening. There's only like 10 people who live on this island. I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, remember how quite a while ago I told you there's a 15th level in the game that we never actually accessed, and it was optional, a 4th optional area like Sarti, Phoebe, and Parfait's Dream. Turns out the guy was in the cafe all along, and I just never had a reason to come here because I didn't do the Flan for Sunstone side quest. Here he is. This is the guy that we saw in the hotel. He commented on Chiffon being the prima donna. His name is Penne, another food-themed guy. And he is obsessed with Bumble. He's an animal racer, which is a little weird. And he's a racer, which should clue you in as to the nature of the theme of his dream. Of course, Bumble's a moron. Has no idea what a race is. You want to try it? Well, I think we can take care of that. It's not like we have anything better to do. Yes, we definitely do have something better to do, but since this is a 100% completion LP, let's go back to the hotel. Penny is finally staying here. He's apparently been in the cafe for days and days while we wait to actually talk to him for the first time. He sleeps during the day, which is a little weird. Big shock, he's dreaming about racing. No, it doesn't sound like fun, and it's not fun, but we're going to do it anyway, because that's what this LP is about. Sigh. Anyway, here we are. A lot to see here. Notice all the rings scattered around. I don't know if you can see them on the resolution of this video, but there's the 100 rings in this level appear in their exact locations, regardless of whether or not the racetracks for the actual side quest appear, which is a little strange. Obviously, all 3 of the racetracks appear surrounding this island, and it spawns around the rings. Simple enough. Technically, a little arrow belt. I guess it's supposed to be significant regarding his desire to be in motion all the time. That, I think, is supposed to be a map on the wall behind the sheep, but it's not particularly useful. I believe that's the second course, although I'll show all 3 of them over the course of the rest of this video. Basically, we're going to briefly go over, similar to Phoebe's Dream, the 3 races. Like most of the minigames in Dual Hearts, the rewards for each level of the individual minigames. Basically, you have to do it. You basically have to complete each race 4 times. You'll get 2 gold asons and 2 pieces of dream energy for each race. 2 of the races will be identical, or rather, 2 tries for each race will be identical, and then there'll be a second version of each race that will be basically an obstacle course. And of course, there's all these grass around because we have to make sure we have to be able to fill Bumble's tummy at the end of every race. I'm also going to use this to farm for black asons, which I'll show, and I'll show the result of this a little bit later. Of course, there are 3 races, as he says. We're going to start with the land race. Again, there are 4 versions of this. 1 for the gold asons, 1 for the dream energy, and then an obstacle course version of each. For the most part, you want to dash throughout the entire race, and it's actually pretty difficult, even with max health, or max tummy, to outrace Penny, so you have to take a shortcut here. It's pretty straightforward. There's no real penalty, there's just these 2 checkpoints that teleport you back to the top of the level, which you have to pass for the race to count as complete. You can see on the bottom, below us right now, the starting point with the finish line on it. And I actually accidentally fall off in this particular iteration, and wind up back at the finish line. No, crossing the finish line out of order does not count. You actually have to cross the second checkpoint too. I was a little confused here, but you can actually see that the second checkpoint, the end of the second portion of the race, is still below us, so we can actually drop down to that. Check it out, there he is, he's riding a jelly drop. We can drop down to the second portion of the race, cross that checkpoint after having already been past the finish line, finish the race from here. This, by the way, is the obstacle course version. The obstacle course version of these courses changes practically not at all from the original. There's just those little blotches of slime on the track. So that's the land race, and that sort of covers the overall structure of each race. You basically have to get through each checkpoint. The only one that's different is the sky race, and there's still checkpoints that just come in the form of rings that you have to go through. The sea race is much more obnoxious because the dash underwater is much slower than the dash on land, and there are no obvious shortcuts to take. Penny, of course, being an animal racer, is now on a fish enemy. Oh yeah, those cakes in the middle of the level are your only way of restoring your asons. I'm pretty sure that if you dash the whole way through, you will use more than 50 dashes, which is the maximum you can have if you have every tummy up fragment in the game. There are HP up and tummy up fragments in this dream. I haven't shown them because they just appear on the race course, and I'm only showing successful runs. Obviously, I had to go a bit out of my way to actually pick up the fragments. This is the only shortcut in the entire level. You can use your butt pound to catch up if Penny's a bit ahead of you. Of course, I'm only showing this particular run-through of the sea race course because I win. Basically, the only advantage you have over Penny, he does seem to move faster than you, almost as fast as you when you're dashing. It's quite difficult to catch up to him. Your only advantage is the fact that you will, assuming you know what you're doing or have gotten used to the race course, use a slightly more efficient path. You also can pick up a small incremental advantage by jumping out of the water anywhere where the race course isn't fully enclosed like it is here.
Here we go!
The race itself doesn't actually end until you or Penny cross the finish line, and considering there's a large number of rings and tummy up fragments and all this other stuff all hanging out all over the place, you can get quite a bit done while you're exploring. You can also end the race by falling off the side, I believe, although it doesn't really come up during the sea race because it's fully enclosed. There's a ring I forgot to pick up. And yes, you can smash into the side and lose your momentum. Well, I guess I didn't pick up that ring this time. Well, that sucks. I'm sure I got it eventually. I mean, you have to do all these races successfully 4 times. Our secret is that you're bad at racing. Anyway, now it's time to show the result of the black assamon farming. We'll finally find out why I've been doing it, why I've been allowing Bumble to eat the black assamons, when it has no obvious benefit other than allowing us to punt him. It isn't just for my own personal enjoyment. Check this out. Yes, that is an HP up fragment. As I said before, if you pick up every HP up fragment in the game up to this in the levels, you will only have 16 health points, which means the remainder of the health points you have to pick up by giving Bumble black assamons. And we are not going to do that because, frankly, this is my second time playing through the game, and I am almost at the end of the second playthrough, and this is the first time I've actually seen that happen, so I'm not going to grind for 15 more of them. Coincidentally, I do pick up a second one, but I don't believe I caught it on camera. Anyway, this is the sky race. It's pretty straightforward. Again, the rings, had I not already picked them up, would be exactly in the center of all the rings, of all these larger rings that we're supposed to pass through to complete the race. If you miss a ring, basically the race becomes invalid, and in very short order you're booted back to the lobby to start over again. This is the obstacle course version of this level. You can see by the 3 or 4 spike balls, I know it's a significant change that will really throw you off. Threw me off. No, it didn't at all. Frankly, you shouldn't, considering you should be cutting corners like in most racing minigames, you should never actually be in danger of running into the spike balls in the first place. And again, you can see Penny moves absurdly fast. It's very hard to keep up with him, particularly considering we have very good control over Bumble when he dashes in the air. And basically by dashing as soon as we finish, that's about as fast as we can go. Our only hope, really, is to cut corners as fast as possible. We basically move the same speed as him when we're dashing. I mean, yes, I do win this race, but it's pretty tight. There we go. Well, alright. That's Penny Dream 100% complete. We'll finish the rest on the next episode. See you then.